This video is a reading vlog about Misconduct by Penelope Douglas, and I just wanted to explain because I've already read it, but I kind of jump from the last video to this one because I was planning to do the last video as a reading vlog and like other things, but it didn't happen. I kind of jump into reviewing it and I talk about something, so it might be a little confusing, it might not be, but I just wanted to explain that. And then it kind of just, I'm like pretty positive it's gonna be long, so I hope you stick around. I hope you guys enjoy it. I wanted to talk about a line because why not, you know? There's a hair. So, this is still Tyler's point of view, and it says, his mother said that I needed to earn his love, and that may be true. He had no reason to like me, and I knew that, but I wouldn't coddle him either. He'd show his elders respect because it was good manners. If I tried to get his love first, he might never take me seriously. I hate the whole, you have to show your elders respect. Like, I get it, but also I feel like respect is earned no matter how old you are, and for someone who acknowledges the fact that he hasn't been a very good father to his 14-year-old son is like demanding respect kind of bothers me, because you haven't earned your respect from your son. Like, he may be rude and you can call him out on that. Like, I'm not a mom either, but it's just like, I don't like that. Like, you can't respect somebody who doesn't really respect you, and it seems like he doesn't really respect his son, so maybe that's just me, I have no idea, but I didn't like that. Like, I feel like you can be civil to someone until their respect is earned, and you can like be nice and you can do that, but also there comes a point where you do respect them, and there comes a point maybe where you lose respect for them. And I just don't like that he says he'd show his elders respect because it was good manners. Like, having good manners doesn't mean that you instantly respect someone. So, yeah. Hello again. This is another video. I thought that I would do this. I'm driving to Barnes & Noble right now because I have a coupon for coffee and a free cookie. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna run errands with my mom today. But I wanted to say that I read last night. I read 2 chapters. I read 1 chapter because I edited the video that I posted, and then it was really late, so I read 1 chapter. I finished the chapter, Tyler's chapter, and then I read Easton's chapter, and I really like Penelope Douglas. Like, I don't think you guys can't even see me. I think she's great. Like, I loved, from what I've read, I read Punk 57 and Birthday Girl and Credence, and I liked all 3 of those. Credence I had some issues with, but it was good. So now I'm reading this, and like, I'm interested. I also really love how she does back and forth point of views. How she does like Tyler and Easton. Like, I love that she does that, and she does that from my understanding all of her books. So I love that stuff. Like, I love getting both points of view. So yeah, Katie McGarry also does that, and I actually like guilty pleasure, not really, the Thunder Road series.
I loved that series. Last year I read the second and the third one back to back, and then I reread the first one, and I still loved it. Like, it's just that good fluff that you need, and it was so good. I finished it, all three of them in like a week. Definitely, I recommend her. I brought my book with me, so while my mom does things that I don't want to go inside for, I'll probably read and update you guys again. I also watched like a ton of videos last night about how to edit things because I'm not very tech savvy, so I'm hoping that that changes. And obviously, like, I'm new at this, so like I will learn, but it is a little like discouraging when like you watch videos and everyone's got like their shit together and you feel like you don't have your shit together. So yeah, but I'm at Barnes & Noble, so I'm gonna get my coffee. Okay, so since I last updated, it is a couple hours ago. I read 2 chapters. I read an Easton chapter and a Tyler chapter. And in Easton's chapter, Tyler showed up to the school and had a meeting with the principal and her about how he doesn't like that they're using so much social media. And so he basically like played her and was like, oh no, we figured everything out, like, and she was like, okay. So they basically, she just kind of went along with it, and then that evening that day, the next day, I'm not positive, she assigned extra credit to go as a scavenger hunt on Google Maps, and whoever wins gets extra credit. So I'm enjoying it. I kind of like the love to hate type of thing, but I also am not understanding why we're so focused on social media, like the whole like debate type of thing. Like, he's like so against it and she isn't. Like, she wants them to have social media and be a part of it, and that's someone was in my house. So she wants them to be a part of it and have social media and to connect with each other, which I totally understand. I think social media is great for that. And he's very against it. Like, he's like running for Senate, but not officially. And he doesn't want to be on social media. And his brother is like, you have to be on social media because people want to know, like, they want to be inside your life. And he's like, I don't like it. I don't know. I guess that's going to be the focus, is like, do we like social media or do we not like social media? So I will update you guys again if something more exciting happens. I'm on chapter 6, Easton, page 84. Okay, so since I last updated, it is a couple hours ago. I read 2 chapters. I read an Easton chapter and a Tyler chapter. And in Easton's chapter, Tyler showed up to the school and had a meeting with the principal and her about how he doesn't like that they're using so much social media. And so he basically like played her and was like, oh no, we figured everything out, like,
And she was like, okay. So they basically, she just kind of went along with it, and then that evening or that day, the next day, I'm not positive, she assigned extra credit to go in a scavenger hunt on Google Maps, and whoever wins gets extra credit. So I'm enjoying it. I kind of like the love to hate type of thing, but I also am not understanding why we're so focused on social media. Like, the whole, like, debate type of thing. Like, he's, like, so against it, and she isn't. Like, she wants them to have social media and be a part of it, and that's someone was in my house. So she wants them to be a part of it and have social media and to connect with each other, which I totally understand. I think social media is great for that, like Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. And he's very against it. Like, he's like running for Senate, but not officially. And he doesn't want to be on social media, and his brother is like, you have to be on social media because people want to know, like, they want to be inside your life, and he's like, I don't like it. I don't know. I guess that's gonna be the focus, is like, do we like social media or do we not like social media? So I will update you guys again if something more exciting happens. I'm on chapter 6, Easton, page 84. Hello. Update. I am now on chapter 7, page 102, and I wanted to talk about something. I also, before I updated you guys, I don't know how many people are watching this, I showered. So I read chapter 5. I read it in the car while my mom was getting a Popeyes chicken sandwich, which are great, by the way. I took a bite, and also a little bit in the car when she went into the grocery store. So basically, Tyler emailed Easton about her curriculum and how he doesn't like it he doesn't like that it's on social media. I talked about this a little bit, and he emailed her and was really condescending and kind of a dick, and I wasn't a fan of that. And then she told his ass off in front of it seemed like his entire board of his company. And it was great, and I loved that scene. She did have to go to his office because she called him after the email and was like, I can understand why your son doesn't like you, which is rude, and completely, like, she acknowledges it. She's like, completely crossed the line. And then he's rude, but he calls her a brat. I think he's done it like 2 or 3 times now. And then she calls herself a brat, and her brother called her a brat. And that bothers me for some reason. I don't know why. I just hate that word. It feels very immature, and like, like she's being a brat because of what reason? Like, he's being a dick, and he calls her a brat. So she says, and I was very wrong. I know nothing about you or your son, and I lashed out, and he says, like a brat, he added. She told him off in front of his boardroom, and then was like, don't tell me how to do my job, I advised, and I won't be so arrogant as to tell you how to do yours. And before anyone had a chance to speak, I twisted on my heel and walked out. I loved that. But I also kind of didn't like the fact that her brother drove her to his office against her will. Like, she was like, oh my god, please. Like, she was working out. She was like, please let me change. And he was like, no, he's gonna be a senator. You have to talk to him. So he drove her there, and she had to talk to him in her tennis outfit. So I'm gonna read a little bit more. I think stuff's about to go down between them, and I'm excited about it. Okay. So her and I think Kristen is her name, the other teacher who she met at the beginning, they raced on their chairs down the hallway, which I thought was a cute scene. And then Tyler showed up, and he gave Christian, his son, his phone back so that he could participate in class things, which I thought was great, you know, but also I didn't get it, like, his whole, I mean, I got it, but I also thought it was kind of stupid. His son needed his phone for his class, and he was punishing him by punishing her. Does that make sense? Like, he was trying to punish Easton by punishing his son, and I just thought that was kind of messed up. But he gave it back. Now they're making out in her class. It's a little like PG-13 plus. It's not like R yet. But I'm excited. Something's happening. But there's also a storm coming because they live in New Orleans, and she's like, the storm's coming and they're not stopping. So I don't, like, are they gonna camp out in the school for 2 days? So I don't know. Also, just like a little update, not an update, but like a little question. She was like, we shouldn't be doing this because all the students are gone, but there could be staff. When she was literally just like racing chairs down the hallway with one of her teacher friends. And Kristen could still be there. Like, I don't know what the doors in this classroom, in this school look like, but the doors in my high school had little, like, tiny windows. So I'm kind of wondering if somebody could, like, look through the window and see them getting it on, you know? But maybe she left. Maybe they're not worried about it. Like, she was worried about it, but I don't know. I finished the chapter. On chapter 8. It got rated R. Okay, so I'm on page 125 now. Tyler and Christian got into a fight, and Christian called his stepfather his dad. And basically Christian was like, you're not a father, you don't know anything about me. And I mean, I get it. Like, he's angry, and he has every right to be angry that he's, like, all of a sudden trying to be a father. Storm's still coming, and Easton's brother is there, and he's checking the windows and stuff for her so that, like, they don't break, I guess. I don't know. And he kind of hovers, and I don't know where her parents are. I don't know if they've died. I don't know if they just don't talk to her anymore, or she doesn't talk to them. But it seems like they also had a third sibling, and she's not really talked about either. She was brought up like once, I think. And then, so anyway, she's like, I'm 23. don't need you to worry about me. I don't worry about you. And he says, I haven't gone through what you've gone through. He said, sounding defensive but sad. You were 16 when he started. I looked away, swallowing the lump, blocking my airway. And then he says, when he started following you, texting you, terrorizing you, Jack went on, looking pained. So, did she have a stalker? Like, I didn't read that terrorizing you line. Did she have a stalker? Or was, like, my first thought was, like, her coach, like, her tennis coach was being inappropriate. So, I'm excited kind of to figure out what's happened with that. I like Jack. I think he's, like, a good big brother. Like, she says it a couple of times. She's like, he's my best friend. Like, she was nurtured much more as a kid because of tennis, and she got a lot more attention from their parents because of it, and he was never angry about it. So, I don't know, he just seems like a good guy. So, I like him. I was right. Her parents and her sister died in a car accident. So I'm assuming what happened at, like, her end of tennis career, they died and she didn't play well and she had a panic attack or something. And now she has, like, OCD, and it just makes her feel better to, like, count things. So that makes a lot of sense. So I'm assuming that the stalker has nothing to do with them dying. I don't know. But Tyler's there. He Googled her. So let's see what happens while he's at her apartment, because it seems like no one's ever been to her apartment other than her and her brother. So Tyler being there is like a step. So I'm excited about that. I like that. I'm enjoying this. I'm on page 130 now, so. Okay, so I'm starting chapter 10. I just, finished chapter 9. It's 1:20. My mom wakes up for work at, 2:45, and I usually wake her up, but it's so cold in my house, and, I want to read a little bit more, but I really want popcorn. I don't know if we have popcorn or not. She was eating popcorn. Easton was eating popcorn in the book, and I was like, wow, that sounds so good. Let's see if we have popcorn. So I'm looking. I don't even know where to look for it, honestly. We have goldfish. Best goldfish there is. But I also wanted to talk about what just happened. He showed up to her apartment and was like, hello. And her brother was there, and he was like, who's in your apartment? And she didn't tell him it was her brother, but he left, and they started to make out, and he was like, get dressed, I'm taking you to dinner. And I'm just like, isn't there a tropical storm coming? Like, why are y'all not hunkering down? Oh, I got popcorn. Like, preparing. Like, why are you about to go out to dinner? I don't get it. Okay, so it's late or early. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. But my mom left for work, and last time I tell you guys, I think it was like 12:30 or 1 or something. And I got my popcorn, and then I watched YouTube videos, and I just read chapter 10, Tyler's chapter, and we figured out why he wasn't in Christian's life. And I want to talk about it, but I also don't really know what to say because I feel like it was shitty of him. I get it, but I also don't get it. Like, it was shitty of him to be like, I don't want to be a dad, but he was also 20, but also, like, she had to become a mom, and then she married this dude, and then when Christian was 2, he decided he wanted to be a father, and she was, like, basically said no because he already had another father, and she didn't want to confuse him. But I feel like at 2, there's not much, like, it might be confusing at first, but he's 2. He's not going to remember him not being a part of his life. So she basically scared him off, and he didn't do it. Like, he wasn't his father, and then I thought that was really messed up. So I don't know. I, like, you know, you get both sides. It's sad. You also get why Christian's upset, but it's also kind of like we obviously don't know his mom. She's in Egypt, but is it one of those things where she just, like, is a shit talker? Like, does that make any sense? Like, she just, like, she doesn't like him, so she doesn't want him in their son's life, and she has the power to do that because he doesn't have any sort of custody. So I don't, it seems kind of like a double-edged sword, and it's sad mostly for Christian because he lost out on his dad, like his biological father. I don't know how to, he lost out on his biological father because his mom didn't want to confuse him at 2, and I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it, but, like, also I get it. Like, he flaked, and, like, there's trust issues there now, so I don't know, it was a short chapter, and I feel like there was a lot to unload in it. So, like, it also was she protecting Christian from a father who who wanted to pick and choose when he was gonna be a father? And, like, back to, like, you can see both sides, and I think, like, the real loss in any of these kind of situations when anything like this happens, like, where parents, like, you have a kid young or whatever, and the parents split up, and the real loser in this is the child, and it's sad. So I enjoyed the chapter because it just felt like he, like, opened up a lot. So I'm liking, I know the tropical storm is coming, but I like that they went out and they had a conversation about that, and, like, why he is in politics, like, why he's going to be in politics, and she explained her OCD and, like, number 8 and stuff like that. Like, I get it. I'm enjoying this a lot more than I honestly thought that I would, because I really loved Punk 57 and Birthday Girl, and I was told that this was very, like, not like that. So it is the next day. I am on page 152, and they just left the restaurant. It's raining, and she met Mason Blackwell, the guy that's also running for Senate against Tyler, and it's pouring rain. I don't even know if a storm is coming anymore because no one seems to care. I guess it's kind of like snow in Michigan. Like, people driving it anyway, even though the people are like, yo, stay inside. And they're making out in somebody's driveway, but it's like, you know, not somebody's drive. It's like they're off to the side of like a gate. So I'm wondering if it's his house, because I know he lives like pretty close to the bars and stuff like that. So I'm excited. Things are finally happening. But yeah, I don't even know how many pages there are, but I've read this much, so I have this much to go. I am enjoying it, like I've said, so yeah, let's see. Are they gonna have sex outside for the first time? In maybe his driveway? I don't know. We will find out. Hello, another update. I got updated last when they were making out in someone's driveway. I don't think it was his driveway, but and they had sex inside someone's gate. They've gone to his house. She tweeted for him, and they've slept together a couple more times. But I think the beginning of the next chapter is them like no longer kind of in their bubble. So they've gone from like the hate to they've slept together. They were in their bubble, so now I'm interested to see what happens afterwards. Like, she's gonna go back to teaching. You know, they've had like 2 days, so I've read 2 chapters, I think. I think I was on chapter 15, on chapter 17 now. Basically, she talked to her brother at the beginning of chapter 15. Tyler dropped her off, and her brother was in her apartment because his power went out during the storm. The storm happened, and she went into her kitchen, and the cabinets were open, and there were clothes on her, like, when she went into her bedroom, her clothes were, not in the closet. They were on, like, the back of a chair or something. And she was like, that's weird. And her brother was denying the fact that he opened the cabinets. So I'm assuming she had a stalker. Like, we haven't figured that out yet, but I think that's something that happened, and that's why and her sister died. Like, maybe, like, we know that they died in a car accident, but I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that he or she thought that she was in the car and they drove him off the road or something. So, I mean, that is terrifying. Like, I get it. That's scary. And that's basically why she has OCD now, is because it's like, so she knows when everything's in place and she can notice if anything's out of place. So, like, her entire chapter was basically her teaching. So 15 was her chapter, and then 16 was Tyler's chapter. And Tyler's chapter, I really enjoyed. I really like the, him trying to build a relationship with his son. The whole text conversation, I thought that was good, because I really like that he understands that he was a shit dad, and he's trying to be better, and he understands that Christian has every right to be angry, and he's trying to, like, build a bridge with him. And I think I really enjoyed that chapter. I thought it was great. Something that I'm loving about this is, like, not only the love story of it, but the father-son relationship, like, the building of that, I think that's great. So I do not like the Tessa girl. She seems a little fishy. I think she's gonna sabotage it in some way. I don't like her. I think that she's kind of mad about it. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure. I think that she might be one of those girls that's like, oh, I'm not mad that you're now kind of sort of in a relationship and now you don't want to sleep with me anymore. And she's gonna be petty and sneaky, and I don't trust her. So he just kissed her in front of, I'm assuming, his colleagues and his brother, and she was like, why would you do that? And she asked him because the Tessa chick walked up to her while she was playing tennis with Christian and was like, oh, I know about you guys, because she had figured it out and basically threatened her. That's what it seemed like to me anyway. And she was like, so she's kind of upset about it. She's like, okay, it's time to leave. She says, how dare you demean me like that in front of others? And he said, you liked it, he retorted, turning around to replace the cue on the rack. They could tell someone. And then he says, that one of them is sleeping with the nanny, the other one has his mistresses, like his secretary keeping track of his mistresses, and the other one was my brother. Most of us are gentlemen outside of the bedroom anyway, and we don't share each other's secrets. You wanted me to claim you, so I did. And she says, you just compared me to their illicit affairs. And then he's like, why are you angry? So she starts asking him questions about Tessa, and then he just insults her. She says, how many are there at one time? And he says, many. And then he says, Jesus, you're stupid. You're young and naive. You ask the dumbest questions and you're having the tantrum of a child. It bores me. And then he goes on to say that he's had lots of women because he's 35. And he's enjoyed Tessa many times. And then he goes to explain that, but since her, there's been no one. Which, I mean, it's only been, it's been less than a week since they started sleeping together, which I guess is great. But also, why? I don't understand why he insults her every time she tries to talk about something like this. And then he asks her what her track record is. How many boyfriends have you had? How long did they last? How long before you're ready to jump into a new bed? Which is rude, you know? When he's like, also, like, I've had lots of women, like, these are like he's bothered me more than that. Like, he doesn't seem like a terrible human being, but he just says some stuff and you're kind of like, did you think about that before you said that, or did you just say it? And then she tells him to get off me, and he says, how long? And she says, what about you? You can't tell me you don't have another woman somewhere. And he says, oh yeah, I do. Several, actually. One on every continent. And she tells him to go to hell and to get off of him again. But he doesn't, and he continues to tell her where all of these women are. And then they have sex. And so that was like the first time they had sex. And now they're talking about this now. And he's just like, I'd probably backhand somebody if they were like, you're stupid because I'm asking questions. Like, he's kind of a dick sometimes to her for like no reason, it seems like. But I mean, she's gonna forgive him in 5 seconds because, oh, he's explaining it. Okay. That's what I'm saying. He's gonna forgive her because there's been no one else since you. When it's literally been less than a week. Okay, I have like 4 pages and I'm going to bed. I can't. So, I just read his dad, like, kind of give him a lecture about, he said, you can do a couple of things and succeed, or you can try to do 15 different things and fail at them. Clarify your goals. What are you doing and why are you doing it? And then, he goes on and talks about everything that he wants and how he doesn't have enough hours in the day. So, I think he's not going to run for Senate. I think he's going to, like, kind of, like, prioritize his life, and he's going to be, like, Easton, he owned, like, a construction company and stuff, and Christian are his priorities. And I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think he's going to run for Senate. I think he's going to change his mind. So, I'm in the middle of chapter 20. Chapter 19, they went to a club, and she spoke to Patrick, which I liked that she spoke to Patrick. Like, I like main characters talking to side characters. I think that's fun because, like Patrick said, he knows Tyler probably better than anyone. And then Kristen, the other teacher, showed up, and they were in a compromising position. And then they danced, and Kristen made out with Tyler, and Easton cried about it, and it was like a realization that, like, she loves him. And then so they're home now, because she was, like, upset. So they're home at his house. Christian is with his grandfather at a lake, so I think it's Tyler's dad, I'm not positive. And she just told him about her tennis coach. I'm not positive if he's, so I think I was wrong. Like, she didn't have a stalker. She just had an inappropriate coach, like, extremely inappropriate coach. And he was, like, sexually harassing her and stuff, and she was 16, so she just told Tyler about that. So is it him sneaking inside of her house? Like, I don't know. I also think it's kind of messed up that they didn't tell anyone about it so that he can do it to another 16-year-old girl. I think that's kind of messed up. Also, like, she was like, it was my career, so her parents didn't want anyone to know. And I mean, that's also a usual, like, thing to happen, is like people don't want to come forward because of their career or because they think no one will believe them. And so I get it. So I kind of hope it's him, so she can kick his ass with her karate on YouTube. So Tyler broke up with her in kind of a messed up way. And so she left the house. She left her apartment, and she went to, like, this mask shop, and she comes home and her front door is open. And instead of calling the police, she walks in and is like, hello, who's there? And so the box from it's from, like, one of the first chapters, we find out that it was letters that her coach sent, which I guess makes, like, qualifies him as a stalker. And he ripped them up. So he has been going to her house, and I'm assuming looking for them. I don't know. That's why he was looking through the cabinets and the closet, and he found them in the box, and he ripped them up. So I'm assuming he did that because he didn't want her to have the evidence if she one day decided to come forward about him. She filed a police report about the break-ins, which I think is great. But I do think her brother's like, you shouldn't keep those letters because it's not good, which I agree with, but also she could take them and tape them and use it as like a, I think this is who's doing it, and get a restraining order. Okay, so they like broke up, kind of, sort of. It wasn't like really a breakup, but they haven't talked to each other. And then Tyler showed up to a pep rally for the school, and he saw Jack, Easton's brother, and he told Tyler basically everything that happened with their parents and their sister and her coach. His name's Chase Styles. And y'all, he's dead. That's not funny. But I don't... Who's in her apartment? Restraining order not needed. Who is in her apartment? Like, who's fucking up her cabinets and her clothes and doing all these things if her tennis coach is dead? I'm real confused. I don't know who it is. I also like that it was acknowledged that the police weren't involved when it happened, because like they kind of just like put her in a bubble instead of punishing the person who was abusing her. Like, they punished her instead of the abuser. So I like that that was acknowledged, and that Jack was kind of like, yeah, that was shitty of us. And then Tyler went up to her classroom, and he was like, I miss you. And she was like, you can't miss me because you gotta be a dad. So now they're like official broken up, even though it's been like weeks, I guess. So I'm almost done. I'm on chapter 24. I'm on page 315. So I'll probably finish this tonight, and then I'll probably start another one. I have Corrupt, which is also by Penelope Douglas, but I also have those books that are like my TBR, but will I read them? Mystery to me. I don't know. So yeah, I'll update you guys again if anything else happens. If we find out who's been in her apartment, or maybe it's just her brother, like, trying to be like, you need to chill. I don't know. I don't think it's her brother, though. I wonder if it's Kristen? Oh, that's... Okay, I don't know. I don't know who it is. I hope this isn't like something that like authors do on occasion, where they start this thing and then it's never talked about. Like, we never find out who it is. Like, I hope we find out who it is. Okay, bye for now. I was kind of sort of right. It was her brother. I'm really sad that it was her brother. I'm upset about it. Tyler admitted that he loved her, loves her, Tessa was annoying and tried to be his wife. They had their photo taken and it was kind of all over. And until they came out, I'm assuming he's still running for senator. Christian's mom was really upset that he was sleeping with a teacher. I didn't know that was a thing, that, like, you could get in trouble for a parent sleeping with a student's teacher. But I guess it is, so. But she's no longer his teacher. So, Jack was the person doing it, because he was jealous. So I'm almost done. I'm now on chapter 27. So I'll update you guys when I'm done, because I think there's only like 10-15 pages left. So I finished Misconduct by Penelope Douglas, and I really enjoyed it. I wanted to talk about it for a second, even though I talked basically this entire video. I really like Penelope Douglas. I think that she writes extremely well, and she always has something different. I feel like this was one of her more tame books of what I've read. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I've read Credence, Birthday Girl, and Punk 57, and now Misconduct. I have Corrupt. It's on my bookshelf. So I've become obsessed with her. But I really loved this. I think that she does everything well. Like, she did the relationship, like, with Tyler and his son Christian. Like, she handled that so well. Like, the whole, he doesn't really respect his dad, and he obviously hasn't respected his son very much, and he's just kind of starting to learn. I like how that was handled. I also liked how Easton, her situation was handled. Like, it was kind of like slowly brought out. And something that I didn't like, though, was that her situation is that she was abused by her tennis coach, and it was never brought to the police because her parents felt like her career was more important instead of herself, her mental health, and her just daily life. So but she does acknowledge it. Her brother is like, yeah, we like totally messed up, we like completely shut her in, and that wasn't okay. So yeah, I also really loved Tyler's character development, going from like this guy who only cares about work, into a like completely different person. Like, he wants to do better for his job. Like, his dad's advice, Easton's advice, it was all just, I really enjoyed this. I love books that obviously have a plot but that I'm interested in, because sometimes I read books and I don't like the plot, and I'm more focused on, like, I just want to get to the relationship part of it and the love story part of it. And I loved that I wanted to continue reading because I loved everyone's storyline. Like, I loved her talking to Patrick in the club and all that. I've probably mentioned all of this, but yeah, so thank you guys for watching. If you are still here, yeah, like, subscribe, comment if you wanna. We can talk about it. Yeah, so thanks. Bye.